Progress Racing presents Show Us Your Tips, back for a midweek preview on a Tuesday night, looking towards day 2 of the Warnambool Carnival. Did you see much of today, Beaver, down there?
Just a bit sporadic, mate. So I didn't get to see all of them, but tuned in for a couple of races. So yeah, it was good. Good to see.
Yeah, no, it was good. Had the usual 100-to-1 pop and a few other strange stuff. Local trained chances pop up, so that'll be the
yeah. It wasn't an easy day overall. Sort of a bit of a mixed bag, wasn't it?
Oh, but
couple of nice wins. Flying Agent was very good, as it always is in one of the hurdle races there. I saw a pretty good win in Bubbly Lass. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, and the course was pretty good. The 2-year-old. New York Hope, is it? New York.
Yes, yeah, it stuck on really well, as did Science Field Delivered, stuck on. So it tended probably to suit a little bit more on pace. Lavina was very good as well. So sort of. I thought it kind of more suited horses up on pace today. So that's sort of what I was looking a little bit more for.
I had that feel, but obviously once you start getting 15, 16, 17 races deep tomorrow, we'll wait for that inside.
Yeah, may change a bit.
Suspect. But no, supposedly no more rain around. I don't know how much it'll dry, but it's probably working on that softish range.
It's still rated heavy 9, I think.
So generally doesn't get too warm down there at the moment. So we'll work on that. Work on it. Better, just slightly better side than heavy. Just quickly, Hawkesbury, Sandown, Queensland. How did it all treat you on Saturday?
Yeah, not too bad. Finished the day ahead. I think I nailed 3 out of 3 up in North, which was good. And some of those got out to quite reasonable odds. So I was pretty pleased with that. I think Georgie's Pride, Fender, and what else did I get? Can't remember now. But there was 3 out of 3. Private Eye, yeah, very good win. Couldn't believe it wasn't favourite, and they put up Apache Chase as favourite when a horse like Private Eye had pretty good form in Sydney. And yeah, got a couple of home in other places. I think Wycliffe I tipped in Adelaide. Instant Celebrity I got, which was really good. So yeah, and a couple of winners elsewhere. So yeah, not a bad day all in all.
Yeah, I had a real good go at Ellsberg and Grand Rumar, which is the difference between a big day and not being a big day, and trekking to a lesser extent actually. But I
was never that keen on trekking. Ellsberg I was very disappointed in. Couldn't quite understand that ride.
Yeah, same.
And Grand Rumar I thought would be hard to beat in that, but just didn't quite let down the way I thought it might.
Yeah, I don't know what you take out of it. It's just typical. I think you just ignore a lot of that going forward and get back, worry about their Roundwick and Rose Hill form when it gets back to Roundwick and Rose Hill.
100%.
We may as well get down and have a look at what we got for day 2. 10 races at Warnambool, the rail staying in the true, as we've said. Still a wet track. We're kicking off with a maiden over the 1,400 metres to start the day. Did you have anything to kick us off here, Beaver?
No, I thought I'd leave that to you, mate. I couldn't find anything.
Well, the favourite doesn't feel that good to win this. It was ridden out in a jump out, which I was able to find and was okay. Responded. I actually thought Cullier would at the double figure. Well, the each way odds, I should say, would run a race here. I think it rolls forward from where it is drawn. Daniel Moore, pretty positive jockey, and I thought it was pretty brave. First up this prep. Probably leads here or sits outside lead and will give us a sight. So number 7 Cullier in the first. Race number 2 is it's maiden over the 1,700 metres. How about this one?
Yeah, I think this is again another really tricky affair. You got 3 pretty tight in the market, a first starter, and a horse that's showing a little bit of a ability in Spirit de Lune. I went for Spirit de Lune just based on the pricings. thought the step up in distance here may suit. I think it'll sit near enough to speed, and yeah, it might be really hard to beat it around that $7.50 mark.
Well, I'm giving Sir Davy a chance later in the day, so obviously respecting that form with Spirit de Lune. My thinking here was I was sort of with the market in that I liked Volatile Stock. So gate one, it's the booking of Craig Newitt suggests it's probably going to roll forward and try and lead this race in a race of hopefully very few chases, and might be able to put a length or two on the top of the bend and be hard to run down. Volatile Stock, number 9 in the second for me. Like what you said there with around Spirit de Lune. Another maiden is race 3 is over the 1700 meters, this time for the older horses. Not the most inspiring affair. We've got High Ferocity leading the market for Paulie Brusca. Are you with it, or you looked elsewhere?
Yeah, look, as you know, I do like the Brusca horses, and particularly when they get over a bit of ground, and I thought it'd be super hard to beat again here. Probably again sits fairly forward and looks potentially the one that they have to get past. Is hard and fit, gets its chance to win tomorrow. So it certainly looks like the horse to beat there. Certainly County Hall, I think it was impressive enough first race start. Wasn't far away, finished off and hit the line okay. So it's going to benefit from that run. Just not sure where it'll get in the run, and might just give the other one a little bit too much start. But yeah, so just High Ferocity on top for me.
I went with the one you just mentioned, County Hall. I really liked the way it hit the line, as you said. Peeled off, and once it got in a clear, really attacked the line. I think out to another 100 meters up in distance suits here. We'll hopefully know which way the track's playing, because it'll be back in the field and probably coming the widest now. So it'd be giving him a start, but I thought it was pretty impressive. And again, it's one of these maidens where it doesn't need to be a superstar to wrap them up. So I was with that one there. The fourth was the first steeplechase of the day, benchmark 120. I haven't followed the jumps as closely as I used to, so I'm going to pass on this one. Have you got anything here?
Yeah, I went for just a little bit of value in Michelin here around the $6 mark. Weighted up to its best, but look, it's had its 2 starts. It comes over the jumps here now, third up. It's a horse that finishes on well, will run the distance, and always crops up at this time of the year. So
yeah, we got Beaver back. You're just saying about Michelin, was it?
Yeah, so I've gone for Michelin in the 4th. Seems to crop up, and they seem to have it right for the jumps races this time of year. Has performed around the Bull plenty of times before. Paddy Payne is master at getting these jumps horses ready. $6 mark in the market. Prepared well for this, third up. Looks hard to beat.
Very good. Race number 5, benchmark 70 over the 1,000, where Dinger comes out because it won today. I'm going to, a bit of a theme here. I'm speaking a couple of Lindsay Smith horses throughout the day that Hometown Carnival, thinking he's going to have a few of these fresh, ready to go, targeting this week. And Continuance is one. I think we found it a couple of times last prep, actually. Fresh for this, Oliver booked. Gate 1 would want to know if the inside's still okay. But just going with the Lindsay Smith train Continuance over the 1,000 to fly fresh. Does have a win in a couple of seconds over in WA over the distance. So on top for me, obviously respecting the favourite there. What about yourself?
Yeah, I know. I really like the favourite in this, Makiva. It was super impressive at Bendigo, first up over the 1,100. Was caught wide, still kept coming. Won like a pretty serious racehorse. Was well backed. It's again well backed in this market. Keeps coming in at every call. This looks the winner for me.
Cool. Yeah, very impressive first up, covering ground wide and hit the line really well. The Galleywood Hurdle feature, one of the features of the day, race number 6 over the 3,200. I will have a crack here. I actually like the second favourite, Instigator. It's won its last 2 over combined, I think, 23 lengths or so. including beating the favourite by about 15 or 16 lengths last two back.
Yep.
Be set for this. I know it's got some weight to carry, but I, just thought at the difference in the price between the two at the top, I'm going to be with Instigator, and it looks like you agree.
I do agree with that, mate. 16 length is a long way.
Yes, yes, it is.
And this horse is, it was a cruisy win last start. One be 6 or 7 being Robbie Star, who I think is third favourite in this.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't see horses turning that around in this. And I know they have a little bit of weight pull, but generally, this horse is going to be fitter for the runs. Saunter Boy's obviously got to be respected. It raced on the speed and won well last start, but geez, Instigator is going to be super hard to beat.
And it's got, just when it does clear those last couple, it's got to turn a foot at the end of the distance as well,
Yep.
which is impressive. So and you go back through it, even its platform is not too bad. So I'm glad we both found the same one there. In the feature, Galleywood, benchmark 64, starts a quaddie, race number 7 over the 1700. Anything here?
Yeah, I did. I liked Jenkins around the $8 mark. Again, third up, gets to the right distance here in the 1700. Last start at Bendigo, it gets back in its races, but finished off quite nicely, only a couple of lengths from the winner. And first up ran in a really nice race at Sandown, was only a length off Translator, Smoke and Romans, finishing third. So I think it's a horse that around the $8 mark can run a really nice race. Still a bit concerned about the favourites coming from Sydney form. We know how that stacks up. It's won its last 2, as you said, Lindsay Smith stable. I think it's certainly the horse to beat, but backing 2 Jenkins and saving on the 3 National Guard.
The one I'll throw in on top of those 2 is the one. I know it's got 60.5, but Dashing Tycoon's actually got some reasonable form. I know it's first up at the trip, but you look back through it's Prince, not far at this track off Kissinger, which is a city horse, not far off Tarns Prince at Sandown. Wet goes fine in the wet, and just at around the $17, $18, $19 mark. I think it can add some home track again, can run well at a price here. And everything you've said about those 2 were summed up the rest of my thoughts. The feature, Wangoom, listed over the 1,200 metres. It's a great race, actually. Very interesting race. Where do you want to lead us off with?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the fresh horse on the scene, Great Again. Bit worried with the draw out at 13, so hoping the middle of the track's okay by that time of the day, and it may well be. Look, its form in last time was outstanding. Was in and around the money pretty much most of those starts. Had a nice second behind Home of the Brave. Ran really close up behind Viridine and Streets of Avalon at Caulfield. And then only just got pipped at Flemington by Lord Von Costa. Loves the distance, looks hard to beat, and a horse that I've backed plenty of times down in the weights, Ocular.
Cool. I both the 2 Lindsay Smith horses that I've talked plenty of times about riding away. I think for ready to go here fresh. By this time, I'm not too concerned about those wider gates. And Great Again for all the reasons you've just said. It missed a nose to Home of the Brave in an Ori Star. That's good form. That's spring form. No problem in the wet. And I'm not envisaging too many issues from that gate. The one, if I was going to throw a knockout in, it might be Dexalation, just coming off the Irwin Stakes behind Kempalasa over in Adelaide, coming over here. Might be a double figure chance if you want a bit of value. I'm figuring Ocular probably runs around in the next. Or tomorrow, wherever it's in next. Benchmark 70 for the 3-year-olds. You there? All right, we fixed our audio issues. The Beaver's back, and we're about to look at the second last of the day on day 2 of the Warnambool Carnival. The benchmark's 70 over the 1400 meters, and you're going to lead us away here.
Yeah, we'll lead us away here, mate. So I've gone on the horse that's only had one start for one win from the Lindsay Smith stable in Sovereign Gold. Won its very first race start at Terang, but was pretty impressive. Thought it looked like a horse that had plenty of potential. Look, it was much tougher class for a race here, stepping out of maiden class, but it's drawn really well. Good jock aboard. Certainly looks to get a nice run, and certainly can again sit off the pace and be hard to beat. Thought its main danger was probably Mr. Roger. Mr. Roger was really good last start. It led and gave nothing else a chance, winning before. So it's probably going to set this pace again. Come across from the 10 gate, doesn't have much opportunity, so I'm hoping Sovereign Gold can sit behind it and probably be the challenger.
I'm going to make a case for one at 20s here. Peter Hardacre trained Thrill Kill coming off the Nitschke Stakes, finishing about 5 lengths. He was caught wide, finished about 5 lengths off Anavisto and Incredulous Dream. Comes here, Dean Yendelon. Peter Hardacre's got a pretty good record when he brings them over, and just happy to have a spec on that. From Sir Davy, who was pretty impressive last time coming through, beating Spirit Deloon, who you spoke about earlier. Gate 12 looking a bit wider and later in the day. So 2 at double figure odds as I'm thinking as the track starts to chop out a little bit. We'll wrap the day up with the race number 10, another 70 over the 1400 meters. Playing much safer here. I think the favourite's very hard to beat for Mara, Eustace and Allen again. Nick Spur returned very impressively last time in, and it'll be very impressive here tomorrow, I think, in this race. Main danger again, our friend Lindsay at the top with Corner Pocket. How have you seen this one?
Yeah, thought you were spot on there, mate. Nick Spur was super impressive. It's first up. Look, John Allen aboard, rode a bag full today, I think. Flying down at Warnambool, knows how to run this track. Gate 12 by this time of the day shouldn't be a problem and should be too good for these.
Great. For progroupracing.com.au, don't forget to check out them for their free tips and extensive guides each and every day. How are you playing day 2 at the Bull? Your best in value.
Yeah, look, I thought there was some really nice bets around there. Look, I ended up going for my best bet as race 5, number 5, Makiva. And looking at my value bets, again, had a few nice bets there, but I've gone for race 7, number 2, Jenkins, about the $8 mark.
I'm going to make Nick Spur in the last, my best actually. I think it'll run really well, and I like Thrill Kill. All the reason I said the 20s there. Also pretty keen on I think we've both found lots of Lindsay Smith all day, but I think the 2 run well in the Wangoom, 2 Smith horses there that we touched on. We'll head up to Sydney to have a look at the support program, which is on a soft track, I think, by tomorrow. Not sure how much rain's around. Rail 6, scared that could be a recipe for on-pace bias, which seems to be more prevalent, around that 6 metre rail. So that's how I've sort of looked at the day here. Any thoughts on the day itself, or keen to play in Sydney?
Yeah, look, I think it's another tricky day. There's a few horses in the market in most races that look to be the main chances. Yeah, look, as we get through it, I think there's a few nice bets, and then there's a few tricky affairs. So we'll have a look at them and see what we think.
We'll kick off with a couple of 2-year-old races. For the fillies is the first. We see Socialist, who I'm still sick that it got beat in that photo 2 weeks back. But I think it'll run well. I think it gets pretty close to the lead. I don't think they'll mess around from an outside gate. Hopefully, Jay Collar gets it across and might be up and going, and hard for the 2 Waller ones to run down here. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah, I thought the same. I was Look, I liked Socialist last start, just didn't quite get there. I do think that Headliner looks the horse to beat. Its very first race start finished less than 3 lengths behind Stay Inside, the Golden Slipper winner.
Yeah.
Who won the Slipper by more than 3 lengths, and then ran nowhere near as well as its second start, behind Stay Inside as well. So it's only 2 starts has been behind Stay Inside, so it's been chasing a pretty good horse. It ran well in a barrier trial, wasn't overly tested. So it looks ready for after a nice freshen up to run well, and might be just too good for these, I think. But Socialist definitely the main danger.
It's around this time we see Waller start to pull out some of these 2-year-olds that he heads to the JJ Atkins and the 2-year-old group races up in Queensland. So maybe that's where this headliner might be heading, which maybe should have me a bit more nervous. Again, we've got some decent form coming back here with Astrologer. Chased Corcaba, who you found last time. Before that, had some, this is in the next race, in a 2-year-old race, had some reasonable form. Did you like the Snowden horse, or are you looking elsewhere in race 2?
I'm actually going for a horse that finished behind Astrologer last start in Overman. Look, I just don't think it had any luck at all last start, but still fought on well. Didn't give up the ghost. I think it gets a better chance tomorrow. Gets a better run tomorrow. It is fitter, and I think it can turn the tables on Astrologer. And some of the other form was really hard to line up. So yeah, I'm going for Overman to get a bit more luck in running and be super hard to beat.
I'm actually going to go with Best Side coming off. I know it's coming off the Hawkesbury form, but I don't think it really went around that well there. Before that, it was in the worst part of the track at Kenzo. From here, it's going to jump forward lead, and gate 1, if this bias is in place, I think it's the one that's third up and ready to win here for Karen. Best Side for me. I like what you've said there actually about Overman. That's a good find. Race number 3 for the 3-year-olds is a maiden over the 1250. How are you looking at this one?
Yeah, I didn't like this race at all. Was happy to let this one go through the keeper, or let you come up with something for the sake of it.
Thanks for that. No, my note said I don't like this race at all.
There you go.
But I will say.
Okay, let's move on. You'll have a pick otherwise.
Yeah, okay. The Baracello's gotten better as it's trialled, but once you start getting 8 trials into, well, whatever it is, 5 or 6 trials into a prep, you get nervous, I suppose, but it has improved. But let's move on. Good call. Race number 4, 1100 meters, 72. Another one I don't really like. Zelify I sort of found last time, but I don't like the setup here at all. I don't like the price here at all, and I don't like the race here at all. None of these sort of fit this race or what I want to find in this race. What about yourself?
Yeah, I was the same, mate. Found this just way too hard. $2.70 quite right. Carrying 58.5 was a bit much for me. I just couldn't line these up. So I can't push anyone. I think any of the 6 can win.
That's what I thought. Days gone by, I would have thought Nick Tock would have jumped to the lead and been hard to beat, but hasn't really been doing that. And then let's move on again. Too much of a rabbit hole. Race 5, benchmark 72 over the same distance. What about this one?
Yeah, I don't know that it gets too much easier, to be brutally honest, but I have got a pick in this race. I'm going for Kobe Rocks. I tipped it first up a couple of weeks ago. I think it's in the last race. And although it finished towards the tail of the field, it was only 2.2 lengths off them, finishing towards the back. So that was a pretty... they all went across the line pretty close together there. It got back. It was hard to run on at Canterbury. I'm hoping it's a little bit better this time. Prior to that, trialled really well, and comes here with some form from New Zealand. I think it can improve tomorrow. So I'm going to go for Kobe Rocks.
I'm going to go for the top weight Tycoonist. I think it draws the right part of the track. I think it's we've seen this Waller no trial recipe work a little bit with this group of horses. They've got it mapping right on leaders back on the rails. by this time, Avdallah might even push forward and lead here. And I think it actually has, well, it's got form through Shake. It's got form through Private Eye, and it's a Saturday City winner, which none of these are. And I wasn't that impressed by the trials of Bethencourt. And really, when you have a look at the form, there's not a lot of guts to it. So I was happy to go with Tycoonist here. And depending how the track's playing, interested in what you've just said about Kobe. Race number 6, benchmark 64. Pass. Anything here?
I'd almost say the same. That these are pretty hard to find. I did go for My Delight. I just thought the Waller horse here, 4th race start, so I think it's got to be probably the most improved, the most upside to it out of these lots. Again, it won its maiden on a soft going at Canterbury, then stepped up to this distance and finished just over a length behind Raptures, and Rock the Bells was well in the market for that. I feel like it's probably got the most improvement, and therefore putting it on top purely for that reason.
No, cool. Was that supposed to be in today, or where did I see it? No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't have much more to add on this race. Let's wrap up the day in the last over the 1550, benchmark 72. Not that I'm much keener. I think the 2 Waller horses are the key runners. Katea from gate 1 had reasonable enough form. The trials are both sort of double wrap Waller trials, so you're more banking on it being you can't take anything away from them, but you can bank on it being ready to go and possibly best horse. And I think Moober is sort of the same thing. Will run well here off going out, having won over a bit further at this track. Does have a mile win on a wet track as well. I couldn't really find a lot away from those two. Any extra thoughts before we go? I know you've had an opinion of Jim.
Yeah, I was the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had it the other way around. I had Moober as my on topper there, behind the other Waller horse. Look, I thought, depending on how the track is playing, it's going to have a big bearing here, because we know both of these horses probably want a little bit further than around the mile mark, but first up and fresh may really suit them. The 3 kilo claim for Campbell, Warilla certainly helps. So as long as they can run on from back in the field, and hopefully in the soft track at Canterbury they can, these two might be the ones finishing together down the middle of the track.
Cool. We'll wrap up our thoughts at Canterbury. Hard to really stamp a best. I'm going to actually I'll make Tycoonist my best in race 5, around a $7 mark. And even though it's a little bit shorter, I think best side will run well at each way odds in the boys maiden race 2, number 5. How about you?
Yeah, my value bet comes up in race 6, number 4, My Delight. Thought around the $5.56 mark. It could be hard to beat. And I thought we'd get off to the start of the day with 2 winners. So I've made my best race 2, number 10, Overman.
Cool. Very good. Do you have anything up north in Queensland?
Of course I do, mate. I can't let the punters down without nothing up in Queensland. Found 3 for us up at Eagle Farm. Race 2, number 8, Frontman. Looks very hard to beat. My next bet comes up in race, let me just have a look, race 5, number 10, Designs. I think it'll been taken up to north. I think it'll be super hard to beat from Melbourne. And in the last race, race 8, number 4, Man of Sin.
Fantastic. Good job, Beaver. This has been show us your tips for Pro Group Racing. Check them out, progroupracing.com.au. And I will see you Thursday night to look towards Saturday. What have we got on Saturday? I think it's the SA Derby. We've got good racing again all around the country. And we hopefully will have some better news on what we're going to do live throughout the day.
Yeah, hopefully we can, plan is to do some live streaming of me and you having a punt and putting our money where our mouth is. Let the punters get involved.
Yeah, looking forward to that. So good job. Good luck tomorrow, punters. enjoy the bull, and we'll see you then.